Jake Claver gives a new XRP price prediction for 2026, and it is what you think it is, $1,500 to $2,000 if certain metrics are happening. We also hear in this new interview that BlackRock secretly has an XRP spot ETF on the way, as well as we're going to talk about XRP market cap. I also threw together some other price prediction clips in this video. I wanted to kind of put all of the craziness into one video for you. Let's go through it. I'll give you my honest feedback, and I want to hear what you guys think about all this. Obviously, your guys' opinion really matters, and I'll be listening for your questions. I'll be watching for your questions.
And last but not least, end of 2026 XRP price.
Oh boy, rapid fired the rest of them, so might as well. All of these are optimistic, okay? These are all optimistic, you know, based on a lot of liquidity moving into crypto. We're getting regulation, we're getting adoption, all those things. So if none of that happens, these prices are null and void. But XRP, I think 4 digits in 2026. $1,500, $2,000.
He can't help himself. I really don't think he can help himself. He loves the price predictions. At least he's kind of now saying if certain things happen. Anyways, what do you guys think about his new price prediction? I honestly think you're going to get clarity this year. You know, he's talking about a market cap for XRP around $70 to $100 trillion. That's what $1,500 to $2,000 per XRP would be. To have that happen here in 2026, just with regulation and liquidity coming in, I think that's a tall order, but hey, he believes that it could happen, and you know, his followers are going to listen, and they're going to love these new price predictions. All right, this is what's going on maybe with BlackRock behind the scenes. Here you go.
We got the XRP ETFs, talked about that in the original domino theory. We haven't got a BlackRock ETF yet for XRP, but you know, there was, in November of 23, before I'd ever put this out, there was a fake filing for BlackRock with an iShares XRP trust in Delaware, which, you know, Bloomberg reported was fake. I think it's still sitting there, ready to be used whenever they need it.
There's a lot of NDAs right now.
Well, you've heard both Brad Garlinghouse and Larry Fink, when asked about an ETF, they're like, can't talk about that. So, you know that there's something there, but I think that'll be the catalyst that rotates liquidity into XRP. And when BlackRock jumps on board, there's going to be a lot of FOMO that drives demand. And they'll do that at a predetermined time when they know that it's going to be the most strategic to push the price to where they need it. So why would they do that though? Well, when the reverse carry trade unwinds, for those that don't know what that is, the Bank of Japan has had interest rates at 0 and sometimes negative in the past 25 years. So anybody and everybody that could borrow money from the Bank of Japan has.
You knew it was coming, right? Something about the reverse carry trade and XRP skyrocketing because of it. I kind of want to know, at what point does, you know, Japan's economy, like we've seen rates skyrocket, like do they need to go up like more than this? How at what point does this happen? You know, one of the brothers from Black Swan Capitalists put out a video about the reverse carry trade. You should go watch that video. It had about 26,000 views. He kind of goes into what Jake's saying here, and he says the probability of what Jake's saying happening is pretty much slim to none. He's saying it's very, very low. He gives some suggestions of what he thinks could happen. He goes back in history to when these carry trades have unwound in the past and tells you kind of what is probably the most probable outcomes, and it's not XRP skyrocketing. And so I just thought that was interesting. But here you go. Here is XRP and market cap, why it doesn't really matter.
A lot of people see, you know, right now $1.40, you know, it's up the past week and whatnot, but I think that long term, like, people really don't, the market cap conversation, that's going to be more for, you know, stock market, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at something like XRP that is deemed as now a digital commodity, right? You got that confirmation. When we look at a commodity, you know, it's going to be priced in based off 3 things. For the most part, we're going to see liquidity, inflow, and utility, right? And that's exactly what XRP provides, if not the most real world utility, you know, out of any crypto, you know. So we got to kind of combat that argument when people you know, say, oh, it can't hit this price due to this. It would have to have a quadrillion market cap. You know, I'm sure you get those.
It will. Like, if you want to quantify it market cap, it's going to look ridiculous.
To a quadrillion dollar market cap, you heard it here. I was going to say you heard it here first, but you heard it here second because he said it here first. Listen, guys, you know, I think Jake's looking for anybody to listen. You know, he's looking for new investors in his products, and he's going to say things that people want to hear. And I don't know. I'm kind of over some of it, but I know you guys, some of you love it. Some of you are over it as well. But I'd love to see some of the predictions, just any one of the predictions any of it come true. Talking part is done. I'm ready for it. All right, let's continue here. This is a $100,000 per XRP. When XRP hits $100,000, I'll have $1 billion. That's about 10,000 XRP. This is the woman, I believe, that talked about a $27,000 XRP in FedWire and FedNow. So it's a little strange, but like, this was just posted. It's got 36,000 views, so people want to hear this. Don't get distracted. She's trying to sell lotion or something in the bottom left. It's a very distracting video, but we got to play it, right? We're talking about some just crazy things happening. Got to have the $100,000 price prediction in the video.
When XRP goes to $100,000 per coin, I'm going to have $1 billion. I hear people say this all the time, and I believe that this is the wrong mentality to have. And this is for two reasons. Number one, because the dollar is failing, so you would never want to sell your asset back into the old system that is failing, the old system that is no longer going to have any value. And then number two is going to be the greatest collateral that we ever see again in human history. And I believe this is where a lot of X holders are going to mess this up, is when XRP gets to $20, $100, $10,000, they're going to sell their XRP. And when they sell their XRP, they are selling their stake in the new financial system. And the amazing thing about XRP is however much XRP you hold, you're going to be able to use that as collateral in this new system. So think of it like this. You have 10,000 XRP, for example, and XRP goes to $100,000 per coin. That's actually $1 billion USD. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to take half of that, for example, and use the XRP to take out a loan. So you'll still have your XRP, but you'll have the money to invest in whatever you want to invest in. This could be your purpose. This could be buying real estate. This could be buying anything. So your XRP that you hold right now is the greatest collateral that we will ever see in our lifetimes again, because XRP will be the oil for the new system.
Now he's talking about a strategy that a lot of people have brought up in live streams. And when I talk to XRP holders, they're going to go ahead and use their XRP to take out loans. They're going to go out and they're going to buy real estate or cash appreciated assets that they can get some type of return on, monthly return, pay back the loans, get back their XRP. And that's totally understandable. That is a top strategy that a lot of people do talk about. And so, I have a decent amount of XRP. So if XRP did go to, let's say, $10,000, I would have no problem clipping off, 10,000 XRP, just getting $100 million in the bank and, just having a little bit of fun with that. Don't have to worry about going out and taking loans. I can do that with some of the rest of the XRP that I have. But, I would like to get pretty cash liquid. I would like to go out and buy a ton of other crypto assets. If XRP somehow rises without the rest of the market, I would go back in and just unleash on HBAR and Flare and all kinds of other things, just buying a massive amount of other crypto assets and have those appreciating. And then, you got Billy and billions. All right. So here is another price prediction with an AI model. This is actually only talking about a $7 XRP. So not quite the 1,500 to 2,000 here in 2026, but I'll let you listen.
Apparently people put as much data as they possibly could into Alibaba's new AI model. This was all in the news if you didn't see it. Alibaba has an AI thing and people were going completely crazy for it. People put a bunch of cryptocurrency information and over the years into Alibaba's AI model to get a prompt. And it said it revealed strikingly optimistic forecasts for Bitcoin and Ethereum heading into the latter part of 2026. The first part that's really weird, and this is also, I guess, a wink in the direction of a lot of people on Twitter. I don't really know. The Alibaba AI price model gave a 2026 forecast of $7 by Christmas. Based on another analysis of more data put into it, It said, based on accelerating institutional adoption and Ripple's expanding partnerships, one metric speculated a $42 X from historical patterns, with the number of clusters of information constantly hitting around $7 by the end of 2026.
All right, let me go ahead and move on to this other clip talking about a $600, a 589 XR price over the next 12 to 24 months.
The Ripple case is officially over. So what happens now? Are we going to see 589? There are hundreds of people talking about 589. One XRP being worth $589. Let me tell you what's actually going to take place. All the dormant partnerships are going to ignite. Momentum is going to pick up. All the ETFs are now going to get applied and accepted and come on. We have more clarity for XRP than Bitcoin and Ethereum. So don't be surprised if you actually do see 589. It might not happen this year, but in the next 12 to 24 months, I would not be surprised if I see a $600 XRP.
All right. I do believe that there's a lot of partnerships that Ripple has established, especially here in the United States, that they're not using XRP because of legal clarity. And I think the Clarity Act will provide that legal clarity. And I do think some of those partnerships will activate. What will the price be once those partnerships activate? We'll have to see. Now, I was hesitant to show you this clip, one, because it is the roll up and these guys don't believe in XRP. They're actually kind of trash talking XRP. And also, and I did want to include this clip. So here you go.
You guys really think XRP is going over $10?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Dude, that's just not gonna happen.
Remember the XRP to what was it, 500 and
589.
Was it?
I think these are going for 1,000.
No, I think, yeah, I think it could go over 1,000 definitely in the next 4 to 5 years.
But wouldn't that
Wow.
like put it above the market cap of?
Yeah, it would. Well, you know, you look at Bitcoin, right? You look at Bitcoin. I mean, why is Bitcoin valued more than, you know, most major companies out there when Bitcoin doesn't do anything? I don't think, you know, when you look at crypto and you look at market caps, there isn't really like a, you know, there isn't really a ceiling, to be honest. And I
You know, XRP would be $50 to $100 trillion market cap at 1,000.
It would be 55 trillion, not 50 to 100 trillion, because that's double the market cap. So, I mean, hasn't really done as much due diligence as he probably should talking about the subject. And I think maybe he only promotes and talks about some of the partners maybe that they have here on the roll up. But anyways, we'll continue.
In that range.
That'd be what, 25
Let's
NVIDIA?
Let's book 2030 on the calendar and then let's resync and look at the charts.
Okay, and so should we put a bet on it then as well?
Yeah, we can. I mean, we'll think about a good way to structure the bet. Yeah, we could put some money in escrow or something. So yeah.
I'm just giving you some shit, man.
All right. So there you go, guys. What do you guys think about all of these predictions? You know, BlackRock will launch an XRP ETF when they have enough customer demand for an XRP ETF. I don't think that there's some kind of secret conspiracy. The fake one that was launched, it was fake. I mean, you did have multiple news agencies saying it was fake. Why would they kind of go through the motions and not complete it? I just, you know, I don't know why we like, there's a lot of conspiracy stuff here. I'm just not all in on the conspiracy stuff, but let me know what you guys think about all this. Obviously, this is not my usual video on, you know, these days we're talking more about facts and what's going on the ground. This is more fantasy, but I do believe XRP will reach a 4-digit price. I do think it's going to take a lot more time than most people think it will. I think 2030 is a great metric in time view. If it happens before that, man, I will be over ecstatic. I just wanted to see it reach 4 digits. I do think you're going to get adoption and liquidity coming in this year. The only way you'd get to these $1,500 to $2,000 price figures if the supply of XRP just totally dropped through the floor and you got a lot of XRP that was taken out of circulation through stuff like Flare and other DeFi protocols. You know, that much utility happening at the same time and a lot of the partnerships going live, you could see something crazy happen, but I don't think it's going to be as some people predict it will. Anyways, I'll leave it there. I want to read your comments. Let me know what you guys think. I tried to be as fair as I could on this video. I did record it about 17 different times. And it was very difficult for me to get through some of these things. But we did it. We made it to the end. All right, cut it. Let's go.